He was talking about abortion on the first date?
I said, like, don't ever treat a woman like that ever again.
Oh my lord.
This was the most devastating part of the chaperone for me. The Orthodox dating world is a dumpster fire. They are at the top, they get set up the most. I like to look at the shit up world as like a totem pole, getting worse and worse over the years, and I think that has to do with
Sarah and Max, an unlikely pair in this wild podcast. They're the perfect flair. Sarah's charm, so feminine and free. A Cali girl spirit under the podcast tree. Max a strong force with a punch in every word. Together they navigate the dating absurd. Don't forget to hit subscribe, join the crew for more laughs and tales just for you. Now back to the show.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Good for Shidduchim. I'm your host, Sarah Levene, and I have my co-host with me, Max Landisman. Today we have a really special guest with us. We're really excited to do this podcast in this episode. But before we get into it, I just wanted to let you guys know to like us and subscribe to us. Please leave a 5-star review. We have Instagram, which is Good for Shidduchim, and also send us your thoughts at goodforshidduchim@gmail.com. And yeah, I guess we'll get right into it. Today's guest is Avital Levene. You guys probably know her as the Jewishmemequeen. She has over 6,000 followers, and her memes are literally hilarious.
Phenomenal.
I was literally laughing out loud. I don't know why, but the dog with with the pan getting ready for Pesach, Avital literally I
remember that reel.
Laughing.
Thank you.
It was so funny. But it's just funny how we kind of got into this making of this episode was Avital actually, she reposted one of Max's memes, and then we got to talking, and now, yeah, here we are. Even though I'm not physically there, I know you're with Max in the recording area, and I'm all the way in Israel right now. But I'm happy we are able to get together and do this. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you. So I know that like a lot of what we talk about and a lot of what you do on Instagram kind of are not similar, but we have kind of the same concept. So we're just very interested to hear like your concept. So we'll ask you a couple questions, and we do want to hear what you have to say. So the first thing is we wanted you to kind of tell us about yourself, like just tell us where you're from if you're comfortable with that, and how did you end up where you are right now?
Hi everyone, my name is Avital Levene. I'm 26 years old, single, modern Orthodox. I grew up in the Beis Yaakov system, but my home was always modern Orthodox. So I was kind of like the best in both worlds, or worst in both worlds. I originally grew up in Baltimore, and then I lived in Brooklyn for a couple years, went to school there, and then I moved to 5 towns about like 15 years ago. And I've kind of been moving around from there for the past like 15 years, but essentially I'm from the 5 towns.
Okay, and what type of, so you went to a Beis Yaakov school, did you go to college at all?
Yeah, I feel like I'm like so from, I stayed in like the Jewish community. I went to Beis Yaakov Borough Park for elementary, and then I went to TAG for high school, and then I went to Taro Manhattan. Well, I went to seminary also, Darchei Bina, shout out, good seminary.
Yeah.
And then I went to Taro Manhattan, LCW they call it.
Yeah, I also went there, so I loved it. I had a really great time there. But how did you end up with this concept on Instagram, and how did it kind of get into like a fruition type idea? You've obviously like had this idea. How did you end up with this the Jewishmemequeen?
So I've been making memes for a while in my life, but I really was like making memes in seminary. I would like take pictures of people and I would just like put it into a meme. I made one of my favorite memes I ever made was we were learning like Hilchot Shabbat, and the rabbi said like if your baby has a rash, you have to dab. So I made a meme. I showed a picture of a baby crying, and then I said like Rabbi Horowitz, my baby has a rash. What should I do? And then it was when the dab meme was in, so then I just showed a picture of people dabbing. And everyone loved it. And it was like, what should we do? It was really good. And I just started making memes. I made a lot of memes then. I had like a WhatsApp chat with everyone in my seminary. And I kind of like stopped making memes. I mean, I was still funny, but I stopped. I had like my From flip out stage. I wasn't really on social media or anything for a couple of years. And then I took a social media marketing class in college, like my third semester or something. That got me into like the YouTube world and back into Instagram. Like you had to have an Instagram account. And I had more like a lifestyle account. And then I saw that there were like so many meme accounts, but like the Jewish meme accounts were like very inappropriate. They were mostly run by males, and I wanted to try something different. I wanted to make a clean account, profanity free, and also I hated those accounts that just reposted other people's memes. Like I wanted my account to be original content.
Right.
So it was like February 2020 before COVID. I just decided I'm gonna make a meme account. I thought of the name, the branding, and here we are today.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good for you, because over 6,000 followers. That's a good feat. Like,
Yeah,
good for you.
22,000 combined, by the way. I have also over 13,000 on Twitter. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's like my biggest crowd.
Look at
Actually.
you.
And then I actually Facebook started picking up. I have over 2,000 on Facebook.
Nice.
All my mom's friends are following me, probably.
You know what? That's okay. Okay, great. So that's really phenomenal. Like I mentioned before, we connected because you had commented on one of Max's memes actually on Instagram. And we were talking about Shadchanim, we were talking about dating, and Max and I just wanted to hear your take on dating itself. I feel like we kind of have the same idea around dating, and we just wanted to hear a little bit like how you feel about it.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's funny because you said I reposted this meme. There was actually another meme I saw a long time ago. It was showed like this like overweight man on the couch saying her nose is too. That meme went very viral on Reddit. It was viral on Twitter. Like I don't know if you know, it went all around.
No.
So that meme I keep seeing. People keep posting it on my feed, which is funny.
That's great.
But that was actually the first meme that's how I discovered you guys. I'm like, this is hilarious, so accurate.
See, memes bring people together.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I forgot the question. That was the first thing. I forgot most of the questions. You're gonna have to like remind me, and then we'll edit it out.
We just wanted to hear because it sounded like to me that you do have kind of similar ideas and similar, I guess like a little bit of the same issues Max and I talk about. So we just wanted to hear like your take on Jewish Orthodox dating.
Okay. Are you like? I would say. I mean, I grew up in like I started with the shidduch system. Now I'm kind of doing my own thing, but I would say that the Orthodox dating world is a dumpster fire, and people are not only getting burned; they're turning to charcoal. It's really bad. It's getting worse and worse over the years, and I think that it has to do with just communities becoming so insular and so extreme and particular. And there are many people who are just falling behind in the cracks and being totally forgotten about. So it's a really, really big issue.
So you said that people are like falling behind and in the cracks, like people are being forgotten about. What specific people do you feel is that related to? Okay,
so I kind of made this up like many years ago, like 6 years ago, when I started dating at 19. Like I got into the shidduch system at 19, and then I had my first date at 20. So essentially over 6 years. I like to look at the shidduch world as like a totem pole. The top of the pole are the people who are wealthy, like typical cookie cutter figure, and they're rich. So they are at the top. They get set up the most. Then you have the people they also want learning people. People who want full-time learners, are wealthy, and are really pretty. That's at the top. Then you go to the next, and if your family has yichus, like if you have like rabbis in your family and you're well known, you may not be as wealthy, you still want full-time learning or regular learning, like you're still good. Then you get to the next stage of people who are like well known in the community but don't want learning. They want earners. And you're like already number 3, so that's already harder. Then you get to the next people who aren't well known in the community, aren't wealthy, and want only working people. And you go down a step, and then you have to hope those families are nuclear and basic. Then you have the people who come from divorced homes, aren't well known and aren't wealthy, and want a working, educated person. And these are the people that fall to the bottom, and I think have the hardest time in shidduchim. And I'm one of those people. Yay!
Oh, so you feel like it's more of like a tier? It sounds like you
it's like the caste system in India.
Right. Wow, it's a
I'm not
very
gonna lie, you say it with a very positive attitude.
Very
so,
Oh yeah, it's
interesting.
fine. How do you think
Yeah.
my meme page started? I gotta be funny.
100%. I love it.
How else do you deal with life? You gotta laugh at it.
100%.
Yeah. So,
Wow. So you started dating at age 19.
yeah, I made my first resume. I was 19. I was like a little bit out of seminary. I had like a few months out of there, but I didn't get set up until I was 20.
Did you
Okay.
want to start at 19, or do you feel like you're forced to start at 19?
I came back from seminary. My seminary teachers gave us all these speeches like you should get married. It's gonna work out. I remember going to the kotel on my Hebrew birthday. I was 19 years old, and I remember thinking, next year at this time I could be married. Oh my gosh! And I was like praying and everything. I was so delusional. I made a video about that and actually went viral, which is funny.
Very nice.
I remember like our seminary teachers really fed us this idea that, you know, like after seminary, you're on a high level, you get married. That's the next step. And so I assumed like, okay, like, you know, I had a hard upbringing. I figured, okay, it's not like it's going to carry me over to the next world. Like our society is not judgmental, you know? And so I thought that I wanted to start dating after. And I remember I had a seminary teacher who told me like, don't worry, it's not going to be so hard. God never makes people suffer twice. Like he's not going to make it hard for you in the shidduch world. Like why would he do that? You already been through enough. Obviously she was wrong, and that is not true. You cannot confirm that. You cannot say that.
I will definitely say she is not correct.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, she was a little interesting. She was a good teacher, but she did not know what she was talking. She's not God.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
at 19, put my resume out. I knew a bunch of matchmakers. I think I met with a couple, and that was it. Rest is history.
Wow. So from the age of 19 to 26, right? How has the dating process been from when you started until now? I'm sure it's a much different story than when you were at 19 than you are now.
Yeah. So when you start dating at 19, 20, you're too young for singles events. You're too young for a lot of things. So like you're really too young for the website. So basically the way you start dating is you completely rely on shadchanim and family friends. If you're well known in the community, you're screwed. Good luck. Because shadchans don't want to speak to you. They only want to speak to your parents. And if you have a brother, don't even bother. If you have an older brother. But yeah, so I went to I tried going to shadchanim, and I spoke with them, tried to get them to set me up. But yeah, like it was really hard when I was 19 because I never wanted learning. I always said I never wanted learning. I want a guy who has a career, who is smart. I come from a very educated family. We really are very into like being financially responsible and stable and just like working and living in the society, not living in like La La Land or whatever. So yeah, so I always knew I wanted working. But when you're 19, like a lot of guys who are working don't want to date you. You're a little kid. Like why would they want to date a child? So it was very hard to find somebody like working in like my like level. I was still pretty frum back then, and then actually almost got engaged once. Good thing that did not happen. That was when I was 20.
Really?
You want to hear the story?
Wow.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
to.
I got set up with this guy. You know, it's funny because like when you're younger, like you want things to work out. So like you have this idea, oh, this is so meant to be. It's such a great story. Like it was somebody like from the community. We like knew of them, and like I was boarding at a family friend. He was also boarding at a family friend, and he was not like, I guess we were like the same hashkafic level, like both like kind of like figuring it out, like ish yeshivish, ish not. Like, I think I still watch TV, but I deleted social media or something. I dated him he wanted to get engaged after 3 weeks because I think it was nice. Like we got along, we liked each other. I don't know if I was happy, but like he liked me. It was, oh, I'm like, oh, this is dating. This is how it's like. This is what's great. And he could not like, he had like a college degree, but it was like one of those like FDU ones. Not to bash FDU, but like, you know, he wasn't like in a 4-year like legit college. So
You're talking about like a BTL?
Kind of like,
talking about a BTL?
he had like a bachelor's in like behavioral sciences. I don't know why I remember this, but what'd you say?
It's like Sar Schneer.
Like one of
kind
those,
like a
yeah.
Schneer.
But like Sar Schneer is good if you get a master's. If you get a bachelor's, it's worth nothing. So yeah, he was like one of those. He just could not hold down a job, and we dated for like 2 months, and then I can't date somebody who's not ambitious, who's not driven. So I broke up with him, and then the next day I'm like, okay, next guy, jeans and a t-shirt, modern Orthodox, that's it. This guy wore a white shirt every day. Like it was not for me. Like, I wanted somebody modern Orthodox who listened to non-Jewish music, who was like regular, who would like fit in with my family. So
Right.
yeah, but then I was still very young. I thought then, like, I did not date a lot. I think I had like one date like a year. It was like very, very not often. And I was on YU Connects, waste of time. And then, yeah, and then when I graduated college at 22 during COVID.
Tell us how you really feel.
We're not going to talk about that. I graduated during COVID, which is like the worst time, but whatever. And there was like not so many people were dating back then. And I thought, okay, I'm 22. Now I have a degree. Maybe guys will look at me. Did not really come easy because, again, I'm still not well known to the community. Shadchanim don't want to look at me because my parents are divorced, even though like literally half people are divorced today, but they still care when you're young. And yeah, really dating did not start picking up for me until I was like 23, 24, and I was like living independently, and my friends were setting me up with like mutual people. So till then, it was a dumpster fire. Now it's a dumpster fire, but in a different way.
Right. Okay.
How is it in a different way?
I mean, like now I'm actually getting dates and stuff, but a lot of the people become viral memes. So it's
You're saying like you'll go out with someone and then for whatever reason it doesn't work out, but you'll make a meme about it. You're saying?
I don't always make a meme about it, but like
if the timing calls for it, like if they did something really stupid or something.
Oh yeah, I never give names or anything. I'm very, very private.
Sure.
But like there was one guy. I want to go into a dating story. Should we do it?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll never forget this. This is crazy. So one of my friends set me up. I was 23, living in the Heights for the short 11-month stint, never again. And my God. Trauma, major trauma.
You're putter from Gehenna. You spent 11 months there.
Yeah, I was maybe 8. I wasn't even there. I was like 8 months there.
I hear.
Anyway, so I was set up with this guy, and okay, he said like let's meet at Bryant Park, and it was like on a work night. It was 7 o'clock, so I figured like we're gonna meet at Bryant Park, and then we'll get a snack after or dinner or something, because like why? Like it's literally right after work. And he was coming from Queens, so. We met at Bryant Park, and it was like very noisy. Like I smelled weed everywhere, which I hate weed. It smells disgusting. And like he made us sit on this like rickety bench, and I thought, okay, like after we sit, we're gonna go and walk somewhere. No, he expected the date to be at Bryant Park. Didn't get me a drink, anything. He brought his own water bottle, and he sat there.
He didn't buy you a water bottle.
No, he sat there for 2 hours. It was cold because it was May, but it was cold at night.
Yeah.
Literally no activity, nothing, just talking to me. He spent most of the time bashing modern orthodoxy.
That's
so
great.
it was really it was grand. It was perfect.
Oh
he was
my God.
he was also like very, very conservative and like very much like the Yeshivish like he sees the world a certain way, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
He was just. It was also like when like the abortion things were happening.
He was talking about abortion on a first date?
Yeah, he brings stuff. He was whatever. It was crazy.
Oh my Lord.
It was like literally it was like 8:30, and I was like hungry and tired and thirsty. Thank God I always carry water with me. I have like that's probably why I have trauma. I carry water with me wherever I go. But yeah, so literally it was like 8:30, and I literally just said I'm going home now. Like I'm not. I thought like maybe I asked him, oh, how'd you get here? Like thinking like he would drive me home because like it was not so far from the Heights, and like I don't want to take the subway by myself at 9:30. I'm a woman. I'm vulnerable. So yeah, he literally. It was like 8:30 or 9 o'clock, whatever. I just walked. Before I walked away, I told him off. I said like, don't ever treat a woman like that ever again.
Wow, nice.
And whatever. And then
Good for you.
Yes. Yeah. And then I went home on the subway by myself because I don't even want to look at this man ever again.
Wow.
It's not so safe, but I made it home alive. And I made a tweet like 5 things you should never do on a shidduch date. And it was like, number 1, don't bring water just for yourself. Number 2, don't bash her religious beliefs. Like, number 3, don't sit out in the cold at night. Number 4, do an activity. And then Rabbi Bashevkin actually, he's D-Bash Ideas on Twitter. He's like the king of Jewish Twitter. So he commented, when you get nachos, like don't pick out all the chips. And like it went viral. So
nice.
It was great. That
Nice.
was it was worth it, I guess.
You gave me some inspiration for because I'm going to start to do like some of these things not to say on a first date, and that's probably one of them, abortion.
Yeah, I've had other stories. I had
Politics. I just say like politics in general. You know, like no politics.
Yeah, politics is terrible. That's like the last thing you should bring. Also, like if you're like a different like religious belief, you should probably not sit there and bash that person's religious beliefs because that's really wrong.
It's probably not a good idea.
Probably not. He was also like really not attractive. Like not only was like it's one thing to be a jerk, but to be like an unattractive jerk, that's next level. Like at least okay, you're good looking, you're a jerk, makes sense. To be ugly and be a jerk, like that's top tier.
Oh. Yeah.
Right. You know what? But he could have just been a gentleman and not a jerk, and it still would have probably been a nice date, you know? But like he sounds like he totally ruined it.
Yeah, also, like, it's 7:00. He knows I came straight from work. You get me food. Like, you want me to just sit there and starve and, like, willow away? Like, what does he want? So, wither away. What's the word? I don't even know. What's the word?
For what?
Wither away?
Waste away or wither away, yeah.
Oh, waste away.
Sorry, wither away. It was terrible. That was like...
Right. With his it was also probably the water he brought was probably unbranded. It was like one of the store-bought brands.
How did you know? It was like CVS brand or something. Or like ShopRite.
It just fits the persona.
Yeah, and it was like half empty and like crinkled up in his pocket, one of those.
In his pocket, he was holding him in his pocket.
Oh, he was also a therapist and he was trying to give me therapy. That was great.
Wow.
Just what I needed.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing on dates?
I'm like hesitant to date therapists because a lot of them give you therapy.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever gone out with a therapist. Maybe that's what.
I've never gone out with a therapist, but I can definitely see them accidentally maybe trying to like find out a little bit about yourself without, you know what I mean? Try to put their therapy in there without trying to be so.
It didn't sound like. Did he even let you talk at all, or he was just kind of telling you what his beliefs are on abortion and modern orthodoxy?
He was just yelling and just, oh my God, I forgot this part. He said he was talking about, like, was it Kol Isha and stuff, and like he was very passionate about it. And he was saying like about how Kol Isha is so important, and you can't listen to a woman's voice because it gives men bad thoughts or something. I don't even remember, like something really crazy. And and I said like, oh, if a woman's voice is really bad, then how are you listening to me talk? Because wouldn't my voice be like wouldn't that give you thoughts too, like me talking? He's like, yeah, you're actually right. I shouldn't even be staring at you. Like I shouldn't be in a room. Like men should not be hearing women talk. He was like very into that.
Oh, he actually said that.
He's like, yeah, like we really like we believe like men should not talk to women, but like we have to do it for dating. So
he sounds like a miniature Donald Trump, to be honest, a little bit. Not Donald Trump, but just the voice that you were doing.
I think he was. That's my voice I use for any man. By the way.
Fine, okay.
It's my man voice.
Gotcha.
I have like a set man voice.
That's funny.
That is. I'm sorry that you went through that. That's just not
Sarah,
nice.
I thought I had bad dates until I talked to her. Wow.
Everyone has stories, let me tell you. Everybody thinks that they're in the same boat, but unfortunately, it's like everybody's in it together.
Yeah.
And, and until people start talking about it, people really start to understand, like, okay, I'm really not alone and I'm really not in this by myself. So it's good that I feel, even though unfortunately people do have bad experiences and bad stories, like it is nice to hear, like, she's not alone.
Right.
I mean, Max and I both have so many terrible stories, dating stories as well, Avital. So, it just sucks when it happens. That's all.
I spoke about a lot of them on a different podcast actually. So, yeah. I have spoken about that, but I've heard way worse. Like somebody told me recently, a guy took them to a hospital waiting room on like a date. I'm not kidding.
Waiting.
He took her to a hospital. He's like, I like going to hospitals.
Who thinks of that?
I don't know.
I wouldn't even have thought
they didn't
of
even
that.
go to like the lobby. They went to like a different lobby. It was so weird. And like they had to walk like 5 blocks, and she was wearing heels. Like he didn't want to pay for parking or something.
Oh my gosh.
So they went to the hospital.
Oh my Lord.
Imagine going to a hospital. I would literally be like, turn around.
No, I cannot imagine.
I have guts. Like I'm at the age where I will literally tell a person like, no, we're not going
You
there.
just get out of the car.
No,
I'd
yeah.
also
If a guy
no.
like that, I told that guy off, and I was 23 back then. Now, like, I would literally no, I would never allow that.
Yeah.
Right. But anyways, obviously you mentioned something interesting from when you were 19 until when you're 26. It's like the process of dating when you were 19 is, I guess, because your parents just didn't know. It sounds like your parents just didn't know the shadchanim, or they didn't know exactly how dating worked, and like it sounds like you were kind of on your own in terms of how to get dates. And it also sounds like because you were 19 and quote unquote like inexperienced, maybe like a lot of shadchanim didn't want to work with you, or a lot of guys didn't want to date you. I just wanted you to expand on that a little bit. I just thought that was a little interesting.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, I was 19. I have not lived at home since I was 14. I boarded for most of high school. So, like, I didn't have a well-known name in the community. Like, everyone's like, oh, what's your last name? And I go, Levene. And they'll be like, are you related to Baruch Levine? And I'm like, no, we spell our names differently. I'm not related to anybody. Once in a while, I'm related to some random person, like, oh my God, I know your sister. But usually I'm not related to anyone. My family's small. Most of my family's not religious. My parents are both Bali Tshuva. So they don't know, like, I mean, they did the shidduch world, like, when they were little, but they don't know it now. And my parents just didn't know how to, like, call and network for me. They were just not into that. And I didn't live with I lived with like a family friend, but like it wasn't the type where like a guy can come and like, you know, meet my parents, pick me up. Like I was not suited for shidduch dating, basically. Yeah, I don't know if they just wouldn't look at me. It's just I was looking for a guy who was educated, working, who could support a family, and the shadchanim just don't know those people. That's really what it is. It's not their clientele. They can set up people who are learning and earning. They can set up learning. They don't have a lot of working guys. The guys who are working don't need shadchanim. They just get set up by friends.
Right. Okay. Wow. So it was kind of like you were advocating for yourself, which is hard.
Yeah, but it is what it is, you know. Nothing ever comes easy, so you just gotta go with it, roll with the punches. But let me tell you, it came out. Because of the crazy dating stories, I've gotten a lot of good memes. Yeah. I guess it was worth it.
Yeah.
So I actually did want to ask you about one of your posts. You said something that was very interesting that a lot of women don't touch upon, or I haven't noticed a lot of people touching upon this idea, this concept happening. It happened to me as well, where you actually start to pull away from being you're from, whatever that may be, kind of falling through the cracks a little bit. And I wanted to know, like, how do you stay true to being your true self? I mean, it sounds like you've been, you know, hurt from shadchanim, from dating, or like a lot of guys have given you bad dates. So I just wanted to know, like, how do you stay true to your true self, and like, how do you move forward?
Okay, I'll kind of start with this intro. So as I many people who follow me know, I always speak about this. 95% of my family is not religious. They're conservative, they're reform, they're just traditional. And growing up with not religious people, it was funny because when I was younger, I was like embarrassed about my family, and I wish that I had like a large frum family. And now that I'm older, I'm like, it's the best thing ever. Nobody nags me. Everyone treats me with respect. When I go into their synagogues on like a weekday, I'm welcome with open arms. Everyone is just so kind and respectful. The guys have manners. They're polite. Like I saw such a good impression from them. And then I see the Orthodox world, and in the Orthodox world, I've been rejected from a young age. When I was in Beis Yaakov, I was too modern. My parents were divorced. I was messed up apparently. And then when I got older, also like I just never fit in. And then when it came to shidduchim, again I was rejected. So you have this where like you're treated terribly in the frum world. Society treats you terribly, and when it comes to dating, when it comes to a lot of things. And then you see how well you're treated in the secular world. So why would you want to stay with a society that treats you horribly when you're going to be treated in other places? So it's always been a very big struggle for me, because I see like how amazing my family is, and then I see how terrible some of these Orthodox people are. And so it's very hard, but I also like tell myself like God is God, and a lot of these issues are not God's issues. God did not create the shidduch system. It's man-made. The crisis, everything, it's man-made. Man did this. I believe that God runs the world, but I don't believe God decided that anyone who's over a size 8 should be rejected and not get dates. Like, that's not what God decided. God did not decide that if your parents are divorced, that you should be literally like on the bad list. Like, no one should want to date you. Because if you look at the Torah, God chose the people that suffered the most as leaders, right? So it's totally anti what Torah values are. In Torah, people who had the craziest life, crazy parents, like literally like idol worshippers or evil people, they were lifted to the top. They were our leaders. And in today, the leaders are the people who are perfect and ideal, and it's not the people who struggled. We're the ones who are thrown beneath the cracks. So it's very hard to struggle with that.
You know, it's interesting because I mentioned this a bunch of times that if Moshe Rabbeinu was going through the shidduch system today, he would absolutely get eaten alive.
For sure.
Would get crushed.
Speech impediment? You wish. No one's setting him up. No way.
Speech impediment. He killed a couple guys. Apparently,
he was adopted. Also,
he was divorced.
Divorced and adopted.
He claims he talks to God. Who wants to go with a guy like that?
Schizophrenic.
He was tall though. Apparently, supposedly he was tall. So he has that one thing going for him, but everything else.
He was Sephardic, but he was Sephardic. He was Sephardi.
He's Sephardi. That's up for debate.
Egyptian.
He's Sephardi. Isn't that Sephardi?
Probably. It's probably.
The question is, did he have blue eyes or brown eyes? We'll never know.
Yeah.
The real question.
I actually read off his like shidduch resume to Shafin, and I'm like, would you ever send this guy? I was like, absolutely not. I'm like, it's Moshe Rabbeinu.
Wait, you made a Moshe Rabbeinu shidduch resume?
I didn't make. I met her in person, so I was instead of just reading off her sheet, I was just telling her like the Moshe Rabbeinu's like characteristics. I was saying like, this. It's like, I know this guy. He's a great guy. He just has a certain background.
No way.
Yeah, so I was going through the list. I'm like, would you ever send him? He's like, absolutely not. And I'm like, it's Moshe Rabbeinu.
Oh my God. Okay, so we need to make a meme about that, and we'll collaborate on it. We'll both post it on our pages, and it's gonna go viral.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the next viral meme is Moshe. We'll do like a shidduch resume for like a bunch of people.
Yeah.
We'll do like women, men. It'll be great.
Yeah. Perfect.
Can't wait.
Perfect.
Sounds good. But obviously that is actually very beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thought, and hopefully it resonates with a lot of people, because I know when I was going through it, I was telling people like, listen, I'm like happy being single and being happy rather than married and miserable. Like I didn't understand like what agenda other people had for me, like when they would get like when Jonathan would try to push something on me, or try to make me feel bad about my age or how I looked or how I dressed. I was just thinking to myself kind of the same lines. It's like, well, I'm doing this for myself, and then like also God has like a path for me. Like you don't choose that path for me.
Wow, I love that. It takes guts for that.
And I did dismiss a lot of shadchanim because of it, because I felt myself being pulled away from what I believed in, like in Judaism, and like how I wanted to reflect what I believe. So I know a lot of girls are going through it, and like I don't judge them at all, or a lot of guys also go through it as well. Like I can't judge them because they've been like so burnt out or turned off, or somebody had said the wrong thing to them and it triggered them, and they don't have, I guess like it can get confusing at a certain point. So it's nice to hear that what you said in terms of, God basically has control of it. It's not like he created this terrible, toxic shit off system that's being utilized today.
Right. Yeah, and also like besides like how you said like how do I stay from, like I also have this attitude like I don't know if I'll be able to be like 30 years old and single. Like I don't know if I'll be able to, if my dating life continues where it's at, like I'm very realistic, I'm very rational, like I'm very much a rationalist. So for me, like if the frum community will continue to reject me and not accept me, I'm just gonna marry somebody who's not frum. Like I don't want to be single forever. I want a companion. I have a goal. I want to be a mother. I want to have a family.
Yeah.
And if an Orthodox guy is not going to do it for me, I'm just going to find somebody else who, maybe they're not Orthodox yet, maybe they're growing, but they're kind, respectful, smart, educated, because I just cannot wait around in life. I'm not going to wait for my life to change. I'm going to be proactive. So it's very comforting for me, because I'm like, you know what? Too bad. Like if it's not going to work, like only a few years left till I give up, So it helps me see a goal in the future.
Right. Yeah. And right. Exactly. And I know a lot of people like they struggle with, I guess, internal values and stuff, and I hope that people don't veer away from however they feel connected, because of dating. It breaks my heart when I hear that,
Yeah, it's hard because like Orthodoxy is a beautiful religion, and it's just been hijacked by extremists, and it's so different than what it used to be. I wish we can go back to like Orthodoxy in like the 80s or something, but there's no going back. It's only up. It's just become so extreme, and it's very sad because I'm sure not the only one who has this thought. I mean, I'm still Orthodox. I still believe in the Torah and everything, but there is a movement called Orthoprax, and it's people who are Orthodox in practice, but they don't believe anything they do. And I've dated guys who are definitely Orthoprax. Like they have no passion about Judaism. They're probably, I don't even know if they even believe in it at all anymore.
And yet they do it, you're saying?
Yeah, people do it because the sense of community, fear, guilt. There's many reasons they stay Orthodox.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so also, Avital, we wanted to ask you, I know you went on a specific like weekend Shabbaton, and you spoke about how you felt, you posted on your Instagram page about how you felt on the Shabbaton itself, and it seemed to be like a very negative experience. I just wanted to know, what do you think is the best way to create a successful like single event? Like if you could, make your own single event, your own single weekend, like how do you feel would be the best way to do that?
I mean, you have to make a singles event. I mean, I'm not the person. I don't know if I can make the change. I just spread awareness about it. But I think that a singles event, like I went to a really good one in like the winter this year, and it was not a lot of people, and the person in charge really vetted the participants. Like they were very, very careful. Nobody weird was there, and like everyone was like kind of on the same page geographically, kind of not. And it was it was in somebody's house. It was super chilled. So it has to be chilled. No shadchanim there, like no facilitators, just guys and girls just hanging out like they should. And I think that's successful. You just need to put people together that never see each other. So like, I don't know if I'm the one to make the change. I am really here to spread awareness. I don't know if we can even fix the system, because it's not even the system itself. You have to go backwards into like, I think you just have to create more eligible men. And I think that'll solve it. I think most of my friends who are single, it's because we're looking for the same thing. Somebody with a good career, somebody educated, somebody with good character traits, and that's just normal. And that's very hard to find that. So I feel like maybe you need to like make more men like that. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know if I can want to fix it, but I just think it needs to be chilled. It needs to not have facilitators. It needs to have the right crowd. And also, like, you need to do group activities that showcase people's personalities. Because if you do a singles event where people are just talking, you know, some people who don't thrive with speech, people who are introverts, it's literally a huge nightmare for them. But if you see them in like a more chilled setting, like you're all painting together, or you're doing a cooking competition, or you're doing trivia night, like something, I think that'll showcase people's personalities. And then this way, like, when you don't show your personality, you just judge somebody from where they're from, their job, or maybe their looks. But if you see, oh wow, like maybe I wouldn't have gone for this guy, but you know, he has such a great personality, or he's such a kind person, like I think I want to date him. I think it would really show somebody's like 100% personality.
So if there are like activities at the event, you're saying?
Yeah, but like normal time, no facilitators, again, just like chilled activities to get people together. Don't just stick them in a room and expect them to talk, okay? It's not going to work out.
Okay.
Right. Is that what the event was?
Yes.
Like they were sticking people in rooms
Yes.
and like, okay, you guys talk.
I mean, they did have a group activity on Saturday night called Paint Night, but you only get to go to Paint Night if a guy asks you out. So
what?
This was everyone was hated. This was the worst part. This was the most devastating part of the Shabbaton for me. They have something called Paint Night Mosei Shabbos. I don't know who invented it. It's a terrible idea. You would think the paint night's for everyone. The paint night should be for everybody. Like, it's a Saturday night. Yeah. Shabbat was long. Everyone get together, hang out, chill, see who's good at painting, see who's not. It's fun. They have something called paint night, and the matchmakers, like Saturday night, they go over to guys. Also, they give out this booklet. It's like a yearbook of everyone who goes to the Shabbaton.
Of like their contact
Of
information?
guys and girls. So they give like their picture, their height, not the age, because apparently height's more important than age. And
oh my God.
Yeah, and they also give their job and their hashkafa, but it's never correct. It's like inaccurate information. And I saw Saturday night the matchmakers were going over to guys and flipping through the booklet trying to get them to go out with someone. They gave you like a special card. You could only get into the paint night if you had a card, and that you had to get a card from a guy. So apparently a couple people ask guys out, but most of the time it's the guys asking people out. And like I knew who would get dates, because like of course like the pretty girls all got asked, because that's just how it is, you know. People go for looks. So yeah, it was terrible, because like you're literally like watching rejection in your face. It almost felt like, not that all the guys were good for me, like most of them were not my type, but like it felt like I was getting 150 like Why You Connect matches, and they were all saying declined all at once. It was horrible, and I'm not the only person who left feeling terrible. So yeah, don't do that.
I mean, that would make anybody feel terrible, especially at a dating event, like at a singles event. Like, you ask the person out after the event, and you guys go out. Like,
I've never heard of I've never heard of that before.
You're lucky.
Never.
Consider yourself spared.
It's too late already. I'm too old.
Too old? Oh, I've been jaded since I was 20.
Not true.
My whole life I've been jaded.
Well, have you had any positive encounters with shadchanim or dating in general?
I guess a viral meme is a positive encounter. I rarely go to shadchanim. Very rarely. I don't like going to shadchanim. They don't set me up, so it's really pointless. I've literally only been set up by a shadchan like when I was 20. Like, I've never been set up by a shadchan, only by mutual friends. I'm not going to say I had a positive encounter with any of them. Like, I had some bad encounters, but I wouldn't say anything positive, because a positive outcome would be getting a match, you know? So I guess I would not say I had a positive encounter. with any of them.
Did you feel like anyone at least treated you well or treated you like a mensch?
Most of them are respectful, and they're like, "Oh, you're so great, you're so amazing. But I don't have anyone for you," or I'll have you in mind. That's their favorite line. I'll have you in mind.
Right, I'll have you in mind.
I think I have somebody for you. I'll look into it. I'll let you know. I'll get back to you.
The best was your meme,
Yeah,
right?
they never
was
do.
the life cycle of
yeah.
I forget, like the shidduch matching or
Yes.
something. It's like you meet with the
It was so
shachan.
funny.
It was great. You meet with the shachan. Tell me if I'm wrong, but you meet with the shachan. They say like, "Oh my gosh, I have this great guy for you," and then you just never hear back from them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like ghosting. Do guys hear back from shachans? I'm curious.
Not all the time. Not all the time. Depends. I mean, in my personal experience, I generally wasn't working with shachanim in general because I just had a bad taste in my mouth. Today, I work with one that is phenomenal. I kind of reach out there separately and whatever. She's been very good. But outside that, it's mainly just people randomly reaching out. I don't like that. It's just
They sound
whatever.
like random suggestions, right?
They're all random suggestions.
That's what I've heard from I hear like guys get thousands of resumes, but like they're almost never relevant suggestions. A shotgun's like, "Oh my god, he has XY chromosomes, perfect," and then they just send it. Like they don't even think like
Right.
anything through.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank
Yeah,
God that was pretty much my entire dating experience. Until recently, it's been a little bit better. I changed things up, and things have been a little bit better. So things are looking up a little bit. But outside that, that's basically what it was. It's just, you're a guy, so here's like 45. I'm like, whatever. You just feel like crap because it's like, even like close friends who I thought would know me. Like they'd set me up. I'm like, it's like we've never been friends at all. It's almost like they just completely just.
They miss the mark.
Yeah.
You miss the mark.
Or like when you get married, you just like I have a lot of friends who are married. Most of their husbands are like too religious for me anyway. But like the ones who have some guys who maybe for me, I think they would feel bad giving me a bad date. So they think it's gonna affect the friendship. But for me, like the fact that you're thinking of me, even if it's a totally off suggestion, like to me, like it's the thought that counts. So a lot of times friends are hesitant to do that.
So I've said this. I feel like this is the biggest difference between how a guy gets a match and a woman gets a match. I've spoken about this for a bunch. Where you're right. Like if someone sends you a match, you appreciate the match. If someone sends, let's say, a guy a match, but it's like totally off, they feel that you didn't really think about it, and they get offended sometimes. I don't know. That's just my take.
I think the problem also is like you have so many options. Like you end up like especially in the non-Orthodox world. For me, I find that like only like 2% of the guys out there who are single would date me, are for me, like non-Orthodox, but like from still and like educated. So the problem is there aren't so many of those type of guys, and they have so many options. So of course you're gonna go for the person from a perfect family, who's this size, who's this career, because like they can. It's literally like Achashverosh trying out different women. Like, let's find the perfect person. And that's what I think. My opinion.
Right.
Why I don't get set up versus like somebody else gets set up, because I see it. Like, I can have a friend who is very similar to me, but she's prettier, so she gets more dates than I do. It's just how it is.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that is the reality of how it can be run.
Yeah. But it makes really good memes, so it's worth it. And I'm speaking about it. Like I am a safe space for people. I am creating this environment that's cultivating happiness for everyone. Like they're realizing they're not alone. And honestly, I don't know I don't make only shidduch memes, but my best ones are usually that. So I don't know what's gonna happen when I eventually get married. I'll have to figure out something else. Maybe I'll still make memes, but
For sure, yeah, for sure.
There's gonna be a lot from that.
it's not becoming a married page. I'm honestly like I want to be that person that like when I get engaged and married, like I don't want anyone to know. Like I'm very private in general. I have a public social media, so like one day I'm just gonna be wearing a wig and everyone's gonna be like, "Did you get married?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I did." Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not going on Simcha Spa. I'm not going on shidduch alerts. I don't want to be on anyone's WhatsApp status. Like I want to be extremely private. I believe
So you say that, but a lot of people that don't want to be on Simcha Spa magically end up on Simcha Spa.
I'll get it taken down immediately.
Okay.
I know the people who run Simcha Spa.
Oh, do you really? Yeah.
I know one. I don't know if they still do it, but I knew one person.
Yeah.
I'm usually able to get things taken down pretty fast.
Okay, awesome. That's
Okay, so Avital, we just have one more question. What would you like to see change in terms of the Jewish Orthodox dating? And what do you feel needs to be improved, and how can we improve that?
I think that more people need to be setting people up, like friends need to be thinking about friends. I think I hope like the next generation creates more men who are hardworking and educated and want to support a family. Like I hope we have like fewer learning people, because I feel like some guys who are learning who could be working like would be great husbands, but like they're learning and not a lot of people want learning. I also think that fewer shadchanim. I don't think shadchanim are helping. I think they're making it worse. And I think that people should not be afraid to say no. Like women should not be afraid to say no. Men should not be afraid. And also like less pressure. Like everyone's on their own journey. We're all like living lives. Some people get married at 20. Some people get married at 25. Some people get married at 35. And there should not be pressure that you have to get married at a certain age. And we should be accepted in our community whether we're married or not. Because if you're treated with respect, if you're treated as a full human being, you're not gonna feel that pressure. You'll be okay with being 30 and not married because you have a purpose. But if you literally are forgotten about and nobody invites you for Shabbos, nobody cares about you, you're just gonna be sitting there waiting for your life to change, and you'll be pretty unhappy. So I think integration into the community. I think more people setting people up, and I think we just need more quality people.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Max and I, we were talking about. Remember, Max? We were talking about how there's like a status between single people and like married people,
Right.
and how our community can break that status. Like we both feel it's kind of ridiculous, but it's unfortunate that this status is there. And I just wanted to go back about the shadchanim. You feel that shadchanim should totally dating should just not be going through shadchans at all, or there's too many of them?
I don't think it should be an automated system. The fact that you have matchmakers who charge money just to even speak to you, and like they're not guaranteed to get you married, like it hasn't been working. We're having more and more matchmakers, and we've been having more and more single people because matchmakers don't remember you and they only set up cookie cutters. So we need a less automated system. Like if you have a matchmaker, they're just there as a middleman. They're not there to meet with a bunch of people and set a bunch of people up. It does not work. I think less reliance on shidduch resumes and more relying on word of mouth from your friend.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't think we need like people who are professional matchmakers. I think we should get rid of that. Yeah.
Right.
We're not in this shtetl anymore.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we are not poor. We are not sharing one pair of pants to go to school. We are in a very modern society, so we don't need to rely on Yenta from the shtetl in Poland.
You know, Yenta from the shtetl in Poland, I would love to meet her. She would be nice to have on the podcast if only we could. She
was probably like starving and like needed money to buy bread for her family, and like it's like, oh, this is the job that's left for me. Here we go.
Oh, no.
Oh, in desperate times call for desperate measures.
That is true. That is true. But Avital, thank you so much for being on our podcast. Max, any other questions?
No, this was great. I really appreciate you coming on. We definitely need to collaborate on that meme for sure.
Yeah. And Avital, where can people find you on your social media and all of that stuff?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram at the Jewishmemequeen, Twitter at Jewishmemequeen, Facebook, the Jewishmemequeen, and I am not on TikTok anymore. I still have my account, but since November I have not been posting on there. So I would say Instagram and Twitter is where you can find me. And then if you're one of my contacts, you get to see my WhatsApp statuses. If you're not a contact, you don't. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So there you have it. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys really enjoyed what Avital had to say. Please like and subscribe to our podcast channel.
Yep. Until next time.
And until next time, bye.
And remember, everything will always be about shidduchim. Catch you in the next episode.